Peace, love, and black empowerment. You are tuned into the Mile High News Channel, Denver's first station for news and entertainment that is for us and by us. With your hosts, Noble Turner, Sharif Aline, Chairman Sekou, and Jesse Paris. Welcome. All right, peace and love, fam. Welcome back to Mile High News. We just want to show our appreciation for the viewers and the love we've been getting on the page. We really appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all keep on support our YouTube page. We got some upcoming events here. It's going to be our Sister Circle coming up next week. We're going to have some other correspondents, too, coming from other cities and other states. So, we're really excited about that. All right, so I want to talk about the resurrection of the KKK in Colorado and how they're becoming more active in our state and actually here in Denver. So we all know that they have a hell of a history, especially in the 1920s. This picture was on Thanksgiving Day. Since Thanksgiving is coming up, I want to show you how they celebrated the shit then. This is Clarence Morley. He was known as a Klansman, and he was our first governor. And here's good old Ben Stapleton, who is the Grand Wizard of the KKK, and he was our mayor of Denver. And his name actually still stands here today on one of our richest, whitest communities, too. One of the top-ranking white supremacists in the nation actually lives right here in Denver. And his name is James Nolan Mason. So I want you guys to check out this clip.
He seems ordinary. Gray hair, tan jacket, slacks, unassuming. A pedestrian among pedestrians making his way through Denver's Capitol Hill neighborhood. Here he is sharing a crosswalk with a woman. It's safe to say this man hates her simply because of the color of her skin, and she has no idea who's standing next to her. James Nolan Mason, age 67, longtime neo-Nazi, and most recently an advisor to a militant extremist group known as Atomwaffen. An international neo-Nazi group whose members see themselves as soldiers gearing up for a race war.
So yes, fam, the KKK, they're becoming more active here in Colorado and more active here in other states too. So, you know what I'm saying? Every week I bring up how this warfare is starting in on us. And a lot of people are thinking, you know what I'm saying, that Colorado is just, we're just all diverse here and, everybody loves everybody. No, it's not like that. So, you know what I'm saying? For all you people coming in here now, Colorado is one of the hotbeds for white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? Because their new action now is to hide their affiliation behind the suits and the senates and the governors like you've seen before. So, I just want to let everybody know that this stuff is still alive, especially here in our state. So we need to be careful, and we need to be mindful, especially of people like this James Nolan Mason guy that I just showed you. So we're going to move on to other news. We have Brother Sharif here. He's going to be talking about the Elijah McClain story.
Thank you, brother. So basically, what's been happening out in Aurora with the Elijah McClain murder by the Aurora Police Department and paramedics is that last Friday, the city government out in Aurora, the DA's office actually issued a statement and a finding that he was not going to charge any of the police officers or the paramedics with the crime, even though this brother was walking home committing no crime other than wearing a ski mask, and he used that to jog. And the police tackled this brother, tortured him for 15 minutes. You can hear on the video the brother crying out, "Why are you doing this to me? I'm peaceful. I wouldn't even hurt a fly." And the police, they got their knees in his back, on his shoulder, on his legs, And every time he flinches or moves out of pain, the police laugh and talk about bringing a dog over to bite him. Like, you better not move. You better not move, not just a little bit. Now, how are you going to have 3 people on top of you with their knees in your back, in your shoulder, on your legs, and you got to be in a lot of pain, so you're going to move when you're in pain. But when he just moved a little bit, this brother wasn't resisting. You know, I've been seeing 1,000 videos where people are resisting the cops. And they, like, really fighting, struggling, kicking their feet. This boy, like, moved like that, and the police was threatening to bring a dog over to bite him. And miraculously, all 3 of the body cameras worn by the police all fell off at the same time.
Oh, man.
All fell off at the time.
All 3?
All 3 at the same time. So says
They want us to believe it. That's what they say on the regular news.
So there's a part of the video where one of the officers come and pick up the body camera, and the police is like, dude, point the, he didn't say point the camera someplace else, but he's like, dude, get rid of that body camera or something like that. He say you can hear him say that on the tape. It's just a shame that this happened to this brother. This brother didn't have no kind of violence, arrest. He had a clean record. The boy, he was kind of like what they call it, like a nerd, so to speak. You know, the boy wouldn't hurt a fly. I don't even think the boy had been in a fist fight his whole life. You know, and for the police to do the family like that, and they released their findings on late in the afternoon on Friday, not really giving. They didn't even contact the family and say, we're going to release these findings. You know, they just called a press conference like an hour before they released the stuff, and the family wasn't even notified before. They had to see it on television. So, you know, there's been a total lack of respect, disrespect shown by the Aurora Police Department and the city of Aurora. And for the last couple of months, brothers and sisters been going out there to the Aurora City Council meetings and being very disruptive and bringing up Elijah McClain's memory, his name, the crime that was committed against him. You know, about a week or so ago, we had the election out in Aurora. Brother Omar Montgomery was defeated by Mike Kaufman by 200 votes. 200 votes. And I like the brother Omar, man, because when this whole thing happened with Elijah McClain, he was one of the first people at the hospital, the first person out there to offer condolences to the family. The city of Aurora still ain't offered condolences to the family.
Well, I bet you Mike Kaufman ain't either. Huh?
Nah, you're not going to have that from him because he's like, you know, he's like this Republican, conservative, right-wing, Christian, Bible-thumping, and the police can't do no wrong. And so we was 200 votes away from bringing a different reality to the city of Aurora.
Right.
Not saying, and even the mayor of Aurora, it's not like the mayor of Denver. They don't really have power to fire the police or do nothing like that. But yet and still, with the city of Aurora being quote unquote as diverse as it is, they should have a person of color represented. I've been living, when I first moved to Colorado in 1981, man, the city of Aurora out there consisted of trailers. Like you would go into trailers to go in the court out there.
Right.
Yeah. By arresting.
It was like that for a while.
Black people make up 16% of the residents of Aurora, but make up 49 to 51% of all arrests. You see what I'm saying? All the arrests in Aurora. So we 16% population, but we making up almost half the arrests out there. When you go out to the city of Aurora and you go to their little traffic court and they got a line out there.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, and only thing
you been there.
only thing you see standing in line is black people.
Black people. That's
And
right.
we only make up 16% of the population of Aurora. And I've said this years ago, we being targeted out there. We got to come together out there. We got to organize. And really, man, when these police officers overstep their bounds, we have to have an apparatus out there to expose, because they don't even be trying to tell you the police officer name.
Yeah.
They kill somebody, and they don't even want to tell you the name. So we have to have an apparatus where we can hold these police officers accountable. And, you know, we can't get them fired or tried in the court of law, but we can come up with some type of apparatus to make their lives difficult, you know, whether it be through social media or public shaming these people or letting the community know how dirty these people are. We need to do that. We need real civilian oversight.
Right. Thank you, Brother Sharif. Right on, man. That is
Thank you,
definitely.
Brother Sharif. That was wonderful,
Yes,
man. That was wonderful.
That is definitely. Shouts out to the family of Elijah McClain.
Yes,
Rest in
sir.
peace to the brother.
Yes, sir.
That's why we do this, you know, because a lot of people, they only give them about 20 seconds on the news. So that's why we're going to, you know, we dedicate ourselves to try to get these stories out to y'all, you know.
And do your own research.
That's right. And it makes you do the research, because a lot of people will just hear that little snippet on the news and, you know, flick to another channel or turn it to the next YouTube video or something. So that's why we're here to bring this to y'all.
That's
And
right.
we're going to keep on doing it.
That's
So.
right.
So next up, we're going to be bringing Brother Jesse Paris. He's going to be telling us about Tangibles 2020.
Yes, sir. Okay, so about Tangibles 2020, we have a big presidential election coming up in 2020. And foundational Black Americans, descendants of slavery, are going to reject the 50-year-old malign neglect policy. Malign neglect is a policy or strategy of deliberately taking no action concerning an issue, challenging situation, or other problem in the belief that this course will ultimately result in the best outcome possible. So, the Democrats for the past 50 years have been doing exactly this, malign neglect. And this policy was started under Nixon, and it continues on to this day. And the policy mandates that Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned in vague and non-specific terms. So we get lumped into categories or groups such as minorities, immigrants, people of color, etc. And that's only hindered the progress of Black Americans as a group, a distinct ethnic group in this country, while providing tangible benefits for these other groups. So they tell you, we can't do anything for you, but we can do stuff for all these other groups. In this election cycle in 2020, Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are specifically met by politicians who are seeking our vote. So the black vote is for sale. The days are over of us just giving you our vote just because you're a Democrat or because you're black or because of this and that, more symbolism. We want tangible, so tangible benefits specifically for us. We do not want trickle down. We do not want secondary benefits that are provided for every group. So when they say, I want to do for everybody, no, those days are over. You're not going to be able to pull a Kamala Harris on us. Are you going to do, you're not going to, if somebody asks you, what are you going to specifically do for foundational Black Americans, and you respond, no, or are you going to do anything specifically for foundational Black Americans, and you respond, no, those days are over. You're not getting our vote, period. Every group has not been systematically marginalized or disenfranchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped into these categories who often assist in the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians must offer tangibles specifically to foundational Black Americans, or we will simply not vote for them. Be sure to spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag Tangibles2020. And along with that, we are seeking reparations. We are demanding reparations, and we're starting to bid at $100 trillion. And as I mentioned on the last show, that's for past, present, and future. So, the days are over of the malign neglect. And we're about solutions on this show. So oftentimes we hear, well, if we're not going to vote Democrat, then you're asking us to vote Republican. No, we're asking you to vote for tangibles, periods, no matter what party. And currently in the state of Colorado, we have a party known as the Unity Party. And that party currently is 60% black. So there's a solution right there. Change your registration if you live in the state of Colorado to Unity. And then we'll have a power base, we'll have a political base based off of that. And we'll be able to have leverage against the Republicans, the Democrats, and whatever other party.
All right, so thank you, Brother Jesse, for telling us about the Tangibles 2020. You guys make sure you look that up. Tangibles is something we definitely need. You can't be giving away your vote after however many years since we've been able to vote. You can't be just giving it away just for somebody just because you just want to vote. You know what I'm saying? It's time for us to stand up, and if there's nothing we want to vote for, then don't vote. Hold your vote until you get something out of it. So once again, we appreciate Brother Jesse. All right, so next up we have our brother Chairman Sekou. He's going to be letting us know about the 5G towers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And the ongoing theme of what we've been talking about, we're talking about the Ku Klux Klan resurgence. We're talking about murdering black people by the police. And then we're talking about 5G towers, all right, for these cell phones that are toxic and emit radiation, and over time will give you cancer, leukemia, erectile dysfunction, all kinds of stuff here. You know what I'm saying? And it's never been tested in the laboratories like they did with the 4Gs. And so this is what happened right here in Denver on the 5 Points, historical black community that was built from the ground up with our own hands during segregation, who's come to destroy that through gentrification and ethnic cleansing, like they did Tulsa and Black Wall Street, like they did Rosewood. You know what I'm saying? They're not playing. Like they did in Deerfield, Colorado, which was a black settlement up the street about a mile around Weld County in Greeley. All right? So we got to tell the truth about what's really happening. They want to kill us. Period. We are an endangered species. They're bringing people across the border who are in support of white supremacy. All right? I'm talking about coming out of Mexico. They ain't here to be fighting no white supremacy. They ain't here to get in bed and pick up the bag money, you know what I'm saying, and then send that back to wherever they came from. It's not just the people coming across the border, you know what I'm saying, from Mexico, but it's about them thug elements that's coming out of Africa. Yep, coming out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Don't even speak to black people, always snuzzling up to white folks. You know what I'm saying? Coming here to get the bag money too. Now, look, that's a whole nother topic. We don't want to get into that because we're getting away from the 5G. But I'm telling you right now, I'm tired of all of this. You know what I'm saying? And so we busting covers. You know what I'm saying? So on this 5G thing, around in June of this year, 2019, they started construction on this 5G pole in front of Miss May Ella's business entitled Franklin Steiger's Barbershop at 2755 Welton Street, that's been there for over 60 years plus. And she's one of the few who's hanging in there that refuses to sell her business to these white developers. And she's on the board of directors of the Business Improvement District for that area, that commercial district, 5 Points. Let's just get it straight. It's Welton Street that is on, but it's not the Welton Corridor. See, first thing they try to do is change the name of what they just stole, like they did in America, you know what I'm saying? The name of this country wasn't no America. You know what I'm saying? Where'd you get that from? You know what I'm saying? But then they come change the name, murder the people, take their stuff, and then have the audacity, these pilgrims, to want to celebrate Thanksgiving on the day the Indians fed you and you murdered them and took their stuff. See, there's something sick about this culture. See? And they think everybody got cultural amnesia because your sanitized version in your school curriculum make it like you took care of the pilgrims, and because you took care of the pilgrims, they allowed you to still be here. And then you're looking at the last of the more here. See? So you gotta understand who you dealing with. America is the last, and I want to repeat, the last successful settler colony that exists. And it has substations in Israel, New Zealand, and Australia. It's almost over, Jack, but they're holding tight to this one. So Yankee Doodle with the noodle came to town to set up a tower, an atomic electronic tower that's over 30 feet high in front of a black business on the corridor, you know what I'm saying, on the street of Welton, 5 Points. And so this thing was constructed by 3 corporations, Excel, AT&T, and Verizon. Now, there are over 23 legislative items in the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate about the legal aspects of what does this all mean, man? You know what I'm saying? What is y'all doing, man? Because none of this stuff has been tested on rat animals. So then you got hundreds of thousands of folks throughout the world, like Switzerland, United States, Belgium, etc., who are in the streets protesting 5G installations in their community. Now they're testing all of this in oppressed communities that are not organized. It is not done in the white exclusive communities. And so you got this company, and it's called Huawei, you know what I'm saying? And it's a corporation coming out of China, you know what I'm saying? And has over 28% of the global market shares for these 5Gs, and they're the ones who are producing the 5G telephone. Now, the vice president of this company, and it's spelled H, get your pencils and paper out, you know what I'm saying? It's called Huawei, Huawei, you know what I'm saying? And if you can't say that, say chop suey, because that's what they're getting ready to serve us up, you know what I'm saying? Because they're getting ready to kill us, you know what I'm saying? Like they did with your chicken and Popeyes, you know what I'm saying? Got us thinking of damn fool, you know what I'm saying? And so look here, I'm talking about for real, you dig? So the vice president of this corporation was locked up in Canada for creating relationships with other businesses to sell the 5G phone that has been banned all throughout the world because of these towers that ain't been tested. You know what I'm saying? So they locked up the vice president of the corporation come out of China, and there's this mess going on about where we should extradite them, trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, all of these folks in these corporations, I don't give a care whether they're socialists, communists, capitalists, Russian, America, China, they're all in bed together at the top. And it's all about them going to get the money, you know what I'm saying? And in China, hey, listen, you in China, you got 1 billion people, you got to do something with all this, see? Because they're going to be tearing up things, you know what I'm saying? Because they can't get their chop suey, you know what I'm saying? And they got to be eating that rice and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, to keep it rolling. So here we go, and I'm going to close with this. There are constitutional concerns right here in the city county of Denver for the lack of notice of the construction of the tower. They didn't even tell them folks they were doing this. See? And there's FCC requirements that you have to do. That's why they banned them in San Francisco for coming in there, because they're trying to usurp power, you know what I'm saying, and just do what they want to do, because all the politicians are bagged. They already paid them. You know what I'm saying? Just ain't told them. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about you, but they ain't gave me a dime. You know what I'm saying? And I'm running for Senate, you know what I'm saying, in the United States in 2020. So everybody relax, cause guess what? Calvary is coming.
All right, peace, love, and black empowerment. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace out.